Karis, together with CTV, are pleased to present Paul Brandt with the inaugural Allan Waters Humanitarian Award.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mrs. Harper, Karis, CTV, the Junos, and everyone here tonight. I hadn't seen that video. That was, I don't know if I'm going to make it through this, but I'll try and make it fast. This is tough. A humanitarian award is probably the hardest type of award to accept. If I just accept it and say thanks, I sound prideful, self-righteous, and pompous. And if I try to take the focus off myself and say that I don't really deserve it, it looks like I'm fishing for a compliment. It's not an easy place to be. You might think that it would be the best place that a person could be to receive an award like this. But things aren't always what they seem. You saw on the video that I used to be a registered nurse. I am the Gaylord Fokker of country music. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. I remember one time at the hospital, I was working, and I had a little boy come in. He was 6 years old, and he'd been playing football, and he got his football stuck on the roof, and the other kids sent him up to get it. He fell off, broke his arm quite badly, and he came in to the emergency room, a very busy night, and they sat him down next to another child who had chicken pox. So not only does this kid have a busted arm, but now he has to be quarantined and be in a room all by himself. He was just a little bit scared. And I remember walking in to see him. I was taking care of him the day before he was going to get to go home. And he was terrified. I mean, 6 years old, you can imagine. And so I walk in, I was going to explain to him that I was going to take his IV out, and it wasn't going to hurt a bit. Everything was going to be okay. Don't worry, Billy, it's going to be fine. My name's Paul. I'll be taking care of you today. And he looks at me just terrified. His eyes are just as wide as can be, and he says, "Oh, you know what you're doing, right? Because you're the doctor." I said, "Well, no, actually, Billy, I'm your nurse." And his eyes got even wider, and he goes, "You're a girl," he said. I enjoyed my first career in that helping profession. When I signed to my first record deal, I wanted to use the platform of celebrity to continue making a difference and to help people. There's a big part of me that wishes now that I'd only chosen to seek fame and fortune. You see, after my first trip to Africa, everything changed. My life was a lot more uncomplicated before I faced what I saw there, before I was shown that the majority of the world's population lives below the poverty line, and then realized what that meant. My life was pretty simple back then. Make music, sing songs, make money. Of course, then the internet happened, and now most of the music industry, save iTunes and Feist, is under the poverty line as well. Congratulations to Feist, Calgary girl, way to go, awesome. It's wonderful. But what I saw really changed me. I saw his picture on the screen tonight, a little boy named Bernard. I met in Malawi in southeastern Africa. He was 8 months old and was the size of a 2 to 3 month old. He had AIDS and was starving to death. I held him in that 8-bed, dirt-floored, filthy little room, a supposed clinic to an area of 80,000 people. And I sang to him, and I felt useless. Bernard was given the lone IV tubing in the clinic, which was boiled in a pot of dirty water, excuse me, and shared between the sickest patients. I'd like to think that the added fluids at least eased his last moments as he died the next morning. I met a girl, a 6-year-old girl in Cambodia, a country known as the center of the sex trade for children. The Cambodian government does virtually nothing as children as young as 5 years old are sold into prostitution there. Imagine the hopelessness of these children who live in a country where karma means good things happen to good people, and bad things happen to people who've done wrong. No one helps as these girls are raped, because the core belief is that they must have done something wrong to deserve this bad karma. I was there handing out gifts with Samaritan's Purse and Operation Christmas Child, a program which provides Christmas gifts to poverty-stricken children in over 90 war-torn and impoverished nations around the world. She took the gift that I gave her, and she opened the lid, and then she closed it so she could open it again. You see, she'd never received a gift before. No one had ever shown her unconditional love. My wife and I are expecting our first child right now. Thank you. Thank you very much. We didn't want to know the gender, so we told the ultrasound tech not to tell us. We got in the room, we started the process, and the first thing out of her mouth was, "Wow, this is a really tall baby. Do you have tall boys in your family?" Then we reminded her that we didn't want to know the baby's gender, but we're wondering if she knew for sure, if she could actually tell us. We didn't want to know, but could you if you wanted to? And she said, "Oh yes, it's very obvious." So it looks like we're having a boy. Thank you. 2 weeks ago, I held a 10-day-old baby boy in Cairo, Egypt. He was one of many children born in 6 different garbage dumps in the city of 20 million people. He'll grow up picking through the city's garbage, trying with his 9 brothers and sisters to earn just $1 a day, enough for 4 pieces of bread. These children have big dreams. One common one is actually to sleep in a bed someday, or to eat an orange all by themselves, without having to share it with the rest of their family. One group of 4 children was there and was given a cooked chicken to eat, and they ate the entire thing, bones and all. One of the young girls kept a small piece of it in her shirt pocket because she wanted to show the rest of her family. They'd never seen chicken before. So there I stood in the middle of that garbage dump holding this little boy, and I asked his mother what his name was. "Joseph," she said. You'll forgive me for being emotional while telling this, I'm sorry. It's partly because it's such a sad story, but mostly because that was the name that my wife and I had already chosen for our baby boy. And I wondered how different both of their lives would be. And I asked God why. This is often seen as the good guy award, but I would not say that I'm a good person. I've not been selfless. Like all of us, I strive to do better. I often forget about the children that I've met, and sometimes I wish that my life could go back to the way that it used to be before I knew about them. But I believe that with knowledge comes responsibility. I have at times taken the credit for doing good things and have acted like it was my idea. But thank you for this recognition tonight. I'm thankful for the opportunity it gives me to share about the need that there is in this world, but I'd like to give credit where credit is due. I believe that God has given me the opportunity to do these things, so I'd like to give the glory and credit to Him, because it's the model that He gave us in His Son Jesus that I try to follow. I'll never live up to His example, but I'm thankful for the purpose following Him has brought to my life. I've been so blessed. I've been shown mercy in my life from my parents and the patience and guidance that they've shown. They're here tonight. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for being here. From my friends in my life who've given me things, advice, and time when I don't deserve it from them. And from my wife, Liz, for her unconditional love and support. And from God for giving me the freedom to choose, the freedom to live life to the fullest until this life is done, and the opportunity to have been born into the great nation of Canada, to pursue this gift of music that He gave me. Thank you for listening, everybody. Good night. Thank you.